Okay.
I agree.
Okay. This is a kabuki lawsuit. It's a kabuki theater. It's choreographed ballet to slow the whole thing down so that they could bring in what? Nesara, Gesara, baby.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Actually just activated. I mean, it was actually signed into law by Bill Clinton.
Right.
They were going to announce it September 11th, 2001, but they didn't want it announced. And you know what happened on that day of 9/11? So no, it was actually signed into law. They've just been doing everything that they can for us to not be able to go
Yeah.
here.
Sure.
Okay. Because I always go back to this, Mel. Everything about Nesara, okay, even Gesara. I mean, it's national and global. Okay,
Right.
Economic Reformation Securities Act.
Right.
If you remember when Trump got signed in, that's exactly what he told millions and millions of people. I think sometimes people don't remember that. He said, this isn't about me taking power. This is about giving the power back to you,
The people. Exactly. Exactly.
And that's exactly what Nesara does.
Folks, we got the man, the legend himself. This guy's been with me since day one. When I launched my Telegram channel, day one, Texas Ted joined because he did a search. He went, put in Gesara, Nesara, QFS, and voila, we popped up. Guys, before we go any further, the usual, hit the pause button, go to Rumble, okay? And don't forget QFS 1776 without question is the holy grail of what's to come. And if you know nothing about what's to come, you better get busy fast because it's coming, and it's coming like a heat-seeking missile. Watch the videos top to bottom, get yourself educated. We're going to burn down the old system, and we're never going back. Don't forget to get yourself some T-shirts. You got to decorate yourself. If you're out there, you understand what Gesara and Nesara is, you got to wear a T-shirt that says Gesara, Nesara, QFS. People are going to ask you, what is QFS? And you send them where? You send them to the Holy Grail, QFS1776.com. Don't forget, we got gold and silver, okay, with one of the top companies, impeccable reputation, okay? They got an A+++ rating on the Better Business Bureau. I could tell you emphatically they have $7.2 billion in sales in 33 years underneath their belt. And they'll send you the gold, the physical silver at the cheapest prices. You can't, don't even bother looking. The prices cheaper prices do not exist. Contact us at QFS1776@gmail.com and put gold and silver in the subject line, and we're going to get you some gold and some silver. Okay. Also, Unified TV down below. Okay. Listen, you want to stop giving your money to the monster. Everybody wants the monster to disappear, and then they wake up the next day and the monster's still there. That's because you guys are feeding the monster. Stop feeding the monster. Stop feeding Netflix. Stop feeding all these, outfits. And so what you do is you feed Unified TV. The link's down below. Get yourself a subscription. And we're not going to social engineer you. We got incredible content. And if you're a filmmaker, you want to definitely contact Jason Shirka and definitely get with the program. You can put your programs on Unified TV. That's awesome, awesome stuff. If you want to buy a lot of XRP, I'm the guy you want to contact. You want to buy $10,000 worth, which is the minimum, or you want to buy $10 million worth or $100 million worth, I'm the guy that can make that happen for you. Texas Ted has been with me, like I said, from the beginning, and I made him an administrator in my room, and we've been friends ever since. He lives down in Puerto Vallarta. I live in Costa Rica. We're probably two of the smartest, the sharpest knives in the shed. and it's been an incredible friendship ever since. And I can't wait to go visit him because he wants to show me around Puerto Vallarta. I'm not so against it. I'm waiting for the storm to blow over, and I'll definitely come down. Brother, What do you want to talk about? What's front and center? We're in the storm. We're in the shit storm. We're in it. I mean, you got to be blind, deaf, and stupid
We're in
on
it.
steroids not to be able to see it. Talk to me, brother.
No, definitely, man. We're in it. We're in it knee deep, and there's no complaints on my end. I've been waiting for it for what 30 something years, so can wait just a little bit longer. But definitely, all the signs are pointing to the fact that we are in it, just like you said. I've got a few predictions myself that I think we could probably see in the very near future. And yeah, I mean, Mel, the thing is that, and I'm guilty myself. Sometimes we know how this is going to end, but we're just kind of in a hurry for it. It's like, come on, man, bring it on, bring it on. But we get fed, on our end, we get fed some of the intel, so on and so forth, that's going on. But there is so much more. There's so much more that's happening that we don't get told about, and it's the way that it has to be, so I have to kind of tame myself down a little bit sometimes and go, whoa, dude, just cool your jets a little bit. It's going to happen when it happens.
Oh, absolutely. Well,
Basically, the whole world is run by about maybe 10 corporations. Okay. Just a few families. And that's, you know, don't want to get real long-winded on this subject, but when they plan these kind of things that goes on, they don't plan it and execute it and next month it's done. What's going on right now has been planned for 50 years, 60 years, 70 years in advance. And it seems kind of hard to fathom, when you're thinking, how in the hell do you plan something 60 years? But they do, and they're very good at it. We just kind of probably within the last, I don't know, I would say probably 5, 6 years, threw some major wrenches in their plans, you
oh
know,
yeah.
threw some major wrenches in their plans, and that kind of forced them to have to speed things up a lot. And it was all part of both sides' plans, because when they take a little bit of your freedoms from you, they'll take it until you get pissed off and go, well, I'm not doing. Okay, you're right, we'll let you go back. But they've already taken it, and then a little while they take a little more, and they do this over a period of years. And it's kind of like skinning a grape. You don't really see it while it's happening, type of a deal. Okay. And before you know it, a lot of your liberties and freedoms have been taken away. But what's happened over the last, I don't know, say, let's call it 6 years, is an acceleration. We forced them to accelerate their program. So now it's very visible. People don't have to look too far now to go, holy shit, what's going on here?
Yeah, it's in
Okay.
your face.
It's in your face, and they don't even try to hide it anymore, you know, because they have to accelerate the program.
Yeah. Well, what's going on in Taiwan? What's going on in Ukraine, Russia? What's have there's so much information
Well,
coming at me at this point from so many different conceivable angles that I can't keep up with all the information. What's the latest and greatest on that?
well, in the Ukraine, it's simply cleanup. And so kind of the same thing is going to be mirrored in Taiwan. Putin's over there, he's cleaning up, and I know everybody, I know everybody that's not, in this deal. Oh, you're killing everybody in Ukraine and everything, but yet we see videos showing the Ukrainian people feeding the military. They're inviting them in their house for water and food and stuff. We know what's going on over there. It's a big, huge cleanup. The same
Right.
thing has happened. The same thing. They say it was going to happen in Taiwan. I've got major news. It's already happened. They've
Right.
been cleaning up Taiwan for quite a while now. A lot of times, what happens, Mel, is by the time we hear about it, it's already
Hmm.
happened. They're not going to forecast their plans and this and that. but
Right.
that's all they're doing. You know,
Sure.
China wants to go back to a democracy. They want to be able to live like, you know, everyday normal people that have freedoms and rights, you know, and it's going to happen. It's
Well, I
going to
think the
happen.
BRICS nation, Taiwan, put in Pundi, Bolsonaro, Xi Jinping, all these guys are all part of the Nesara
Modi.
Gesara. It's happening, bro. Listen, I got another gentleman. I talked to him for over an hour and a half yesterday on a private call. He said he got basically a letter from the bank say for every dollar that you paid in interest to this house, we're going to give you back $8.91. I put this in the room. People went freaking crazy. Okay, I'm about to
Wow.
do a podcast with him. In other words, he's got no more mortgage, and the bank is paying him for every dollar. So if they paid, let's say, $100,000 in interest, which is very easy to do when you buy a house, okay, that means they're going to get
Right.
$891,000. Okay, and there's no more mortgage.
That's that's Nassar, baby.
Oh, there's no question. There's no question.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
now I understand that 107 is starting to change his tune a little bit and backpedaling. There was a podcast with him, Tommy Numbers, I believe, and yours truly, Dr. Charlie Ward, and he's definitely backpedaling because listen,
I
you
saw
got
that.
when you got ball busters out here like myself, I'm gonna scour the earth. There'll be not one stone that I will not unturn. Okay, and I will bring
Right.
you the evidence, and then we'll sit down. And if you want to argue, it's a good thing that we're doing it virtually because if you're face to face, the Italian me say, "I got to smack you upside the head," right?
Hey, and half of me agrees with you because my mom is Italian. So
You know what I'm talking about.
the other half is Native American, and we'll just take your scalp, okay? So I got the best of both worlds kicking over here.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
no, you're exactly right though. The alliance and everything that you just mentioned is all just it's a working chess piece. And when you start connecting the dots, they sometimes they just give us enough information that you need to connect the dots.
right.
Have some discernment, little cognitive thinking. They haven't ruined that for all of us. You can connect the dots, and then all of a sudden it goes boom, and you're like, "Holy shit! This is
Yeah,
this is what's going to happen. This is what's happening." You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and you know what? Talk about 107. I used to really, really like listening to 107, but I think, and now this is just my own judgment. I I think sometimes they have these major, personalities, these things spreading disinformation on purpose or misinformation on purpose because I can't imagine that he just doesn't know. Okay. And I can't imagine. I read his body language, even though I can't see his whole body. I read his verbal body language a lot of times. And one minute he's talking about, oh yeah, and there's going to be World War III, and we're going to be at the precipice of death, and all of this stuff. Hey, Nino, look at this car right here, man. I used to own one of these cars about 10 years ago. They're the best thing. You can't be talking about death and destruction and then be all happy and giddy in the same sentence unless you know what's going on.
Yeah,
And we
no,
ain't
some
losing.
things, there's a lot of disinformation out there. And I think the disinformation to some extent needs to be out there. Okay.
It
For what
does.
reason, I
100%.
really don't know. I could tell you one thing going into the quantum financial system, Nesara, Gesara, when you look at this, Texas 10, when you look at this for what it is, you think, let's say just me and you are the guys who were brainiacs and we got into a garage one day, we started crunching some code, and we are the guys that created XRP, the quantum financial system, the Gesara and Nesara, the system that's going to take over the world. You think the United States of America is going to give you and me the right to run the freaking financial system that runs the entire world? Are you kidding me? Are
Hell
you kidding
no.
me?
Hell no.
Hell no. No
Oh,
way. That's
man.
why you got a lawsuit. That's why it's all kabuki theater. The kabuki theater the lawsuit. I'll say it forever and ever and ever. I don't give a shit how many people have heard it out there. You're going to hear it again. Okay. The lawsuit's been settled October 1st, 2021. We got the
I agree
video.
with
It lives
that.
on our Rumble channel. Okay.
I agree.
Okay. This is a kabuki lawsuit. It's a kabuki theater. It's choreographed ballet to slow the whole thing down so that they could bring in what? Nesara, Gesara, baby.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Actually just activated. I mean, it was actually signed into law by Bill Clinton.
Right.
They were going to announce it September 11th, 2001, but they didn't want it announced. And you know what happened on that day of 9/11? So no, it was actually signed into law. They've just been doing everything that they can for us to not be able to go
Yeah.
here.
Sure.
Okay. Because I always go back to this, Mel. Everything about Nesara, okay, even Gesara. I mean, it's national and global. Okay,
Right.
Economic Reformation Securities Act.
Right.
If you remember when Trump got signed in, that's exactly what he told millions and millions of people. I think sometimes people don't remember that. He said, this isn't about me taking power. This is about giving the power back to you,
The
the
people.
people.
Exactly.
And,
Exactly.
and that's exactly what Nesara does. It gives us back our power. It gives us back our freedoms. It gives us back everything that they stole from us, and
Correct.
I'm talking everything from your birth certificates to taxes to interest to everything, you know. So that's really the last thing that they want, but it's too late now. It's already happened. They just haven't told us. They just
Yeah.
haven't made it public.
Exactly. They haven't made it public yet. It's because
Right.
it's not time to serve the wine. Okay.
Yeah.
In 1913, what happened? The United States gives a right to a bunch of banksters, to print the money supply for the entire planet.
Mhm.
Right? They bring in the IRS because it was supposed to fund what? World War II. They said, don't worry about it. After World War II is funded, we're going to take the IRS away. The IRS is what?
Right.
It's an entity that's registered where? In Puerto Rico. The money you pay does not build your bridges, does not build your roads, does not put new traffic lights. That money goes
there's not a
where? The UK, the monarchy,
it goes straight back to
Vatican.
the British. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it
Okay.
goes straight back to the British Crown who's owned us.
Exactly.
Forever.
So you have an illegal collection agency called the IRS, who's not even registered in the United States. Look it up. It's registered in Puerto Rico, collecting money from you illegally because you're a volunteer. Read your tax code. Okay. You're a volunteer, and the money doesn't even go to any of the bullshit you're doing. So you start to understand, and you understand this better than anybody, right? If you start to understand the reason Trump is not allowed to come back, medical beds. So you're going to get to live to be 2,000 years old. You could still have sex when you're 1,700 years old. When you're 1,700 years old, you still look as good as you when you were 27 years old. You're going to get
like me and Mel.
You're going to get a flying disc that can go from where to where. How fast? Yeah, you got it. Nobody's going to want a Lamborghini anymore. Okay. We're going to destroy the petrol industry, and we're going to destroy the entire medical industry. Are you hearing me?
Well, let me share something with you real quick. I just want to ask you a simple question, my brother, and I want everybody to pay real close attention to what I'm about to say. Do you agree that the United States has just been printing money like there's no tomorrow for
absolutely.
years and years? Okay. So if you can print your own money, Why do
Mhm.
I have to pay taxes?
It's a valid question in my,
Really?
right?
I
Exactly.
mean, that's one of those things that makes you go, no shit. If you can just print the money, what do you need my money for?
Exactly. Just print in payment taxes for me.
Exactly. You know?
In 1913, the government of the United States gives the power to the banksters. You think they're going to make that mistake again and say to a bunch of guys like, let's say me and you are Ripple XRP, we invented XRP. Oh yeah, don't worry about it. You got. They're not about to repeat that mistake ever again, folks. They
Well,
they
and you know something.
they did this in 1913.
Well, and I've got a 100 and how old is it? 112, 115-year old big framed newspaper upstairs from 1912.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That almost didn't happen that you were talking about
Yeah, it almost
because
didn't, but it did.
three of the richest bankers in the world lived in America. Okay. And when they started talking to them about putting a central banking system, they was like, no way.
Yeah,
No, it ain't happening. And then all of a sudden they built this big, mighty, mighty ship, this big, beautiful ship called the Titanic. And guess who was on that? All three of those super wealthy bankers.
and that ship
And
had
the
to go down.
Titanic was unsinkable, but guess what? It sunk with them on it, and it ushered in the central banking system. And that's another funny thing, Mel, is because it's called central bank everywhere else in the world, except in the United States. It's called the Federal Reserve. Why would they call it that? It's because I don't think Americans, a central bank, the hell is that? We don't need, oh, federal. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's Federal Reserve. Oh, okay. It's a government. Doesn't have shit to do with the government.
Well, I'll tell you what, we had another Titanic. It's called that Malaysian flight that has disappeared, vanished off the face of
Uh-huh.
the earth, never to be seen again. There was some very important people with some incredible patents on that plane. And I don't know the whole
Yes.
story. And if you guys know the whole story, you can put it down below. But there were some people on that plane, and that plane had to disappear. And they literally sacrificed hundreds of people because there was 3 people on that plane that had too much power and they had to go. Okay.
It's these guys, and Mel, you know this. I'm not I'm not preaching to you, but
Mm-hmm.
for people that don't know this, they've had the same game plan since day one. The
Mm-hmm.
same game plan. It's always been deceive, distract, and destroy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do. It's like, with a thing going on, they got to deceive you. This is the killer, it's killing everybody, da 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 da. And then they distract you, okay, with all
Mm-hmm.
these made up numbers and this and that so they can destroy you, you know. And I'm really, really, really thankful, man, that a lot of people are waking up. A lot of people are, and when I say that waking up, things in me are changing as well
Sure.
because I've caught myself in the past, and this is really important to me. I've caught myself in the past calling people normies, calling them sheep, calling them dead or coma, whatever. I'm guilty as shit. But you know what? When I really stop and think about it, it's like these are human beings, and these are human beings that thought they could trust their government. They thought they could trust their doctor. They thought they could trust their federal, law enforcement agencies, you know, and they had no reason to doubt them. I mean, this, patriot or no patriot, you have pride and respect in your government, you know, and you never look at them like, these people are they're trying to deceive me, and now they're going to distract me with this so they can destroy me. Those are not thoughts that normal people have.
Yeah.
We are fortunate enough that we was not brainwashed. We were not able to be brainwashed. the Mockingbird media and all of that didn't have an effect on us. We
Right.
always have been able to see, okay? But for those who couldn't, I feel bad for them, and I feel like they're going to come around because they're not going to have a choice. What's about to be put in front of them, they're going to know it's God. Number one, only God can do what's going to happen. But number two, they're going to need people like us in this big community to help them. You know,
Yes.
they're gonna need our help in understanding. They're gonna be like, man, we used to call you guys conspiracy theories and stuff, and I was like, that's all right. I used to call you a fucking sheep, so it's okay. But then they're going to want to know more. They're going to be like, well, you obviously know about this. What happened? We need to be there to nurture them, because there's going to be a lot of people that's not going to be able to handle what they're going to find out. It's
Oh,
going to
there's
be
no
very
question
bad,
about that. There's gonna be people
you
that will
know?
check out, literally, boom, check out.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because things
yeah.
are gonna change so drastically in the next 2 years. You will not recognize your own planet. You're gonna walk outside the door, and you're not gonna see cars that are floating on, rubber tires. I mean, like we're driving time bombs, with gasoline. One
That's
spark is all it takes, and you're burnt like a marshmallows inside your own car, right?
See, you and I, Mel, we're cut from the same cloth. For those of you that don't know, I had to get here first. I'm one day older than Mel. I was born September 8th, and I was like, here I am, man. Here I am. And then
Yeah.
the next day, this guy has to go, oh, really? No, here I am. All right. So, same year, one day apart. We think alike. We got a lot of commonality. Um, but it's it's just funny that what Mel was talking about earlier about walking outside and looking around and seeing everything. That's going to be a shocker to a lot of people. I was referring more to people finding out about their history, that all of that was a lie.
Everything has been one big lie. That's why I don't argue with the flat earthers. If they lie to you about flat earth, what? You lied to me 9,999,000 times, and one more
You
is going to make
know,
a difference? No, I don't think so.
on that stuff, bro, I mean, I'm just like, okay, if that's what you say, I'm not going to say you're wrong or anything, because I ain't never
Right.
been out there looking down going, well,
Bingo.
goddamn, it is flat or it is round. I don't know. With everything that we've learned over the last 30, 40 years, I don't doubt anything anymore. And
Yeah, exactly.
if I did find out it was flat, I'd be like, so what?
Yeah,
It's
but
been flat all my life.
I think it's going to take conservatively at least 3 to 5 years once we roll out the new financial system, the ZIMs, the dinars, the XRPs, the XLMs, the XDCs, all of it, Gesara, Nesara. It's going to take 3 to 5 years conservatively just to burn everything down and rewrite the history the right way.
Yeah. Well, and I think, the history is all documented out there. When they found all that gold under the Vatican and everything else, they kept very meticulous records on everything. I mean, they knew exactly what gold they stole from what country, and they were able to,
Oh yeah,
to bring it all back. They also have all the records on history. They have the records on everything.
yeah,
It's just, for me personally, I don't I can't say I don't care, but it's nothing more powerful than my own beliefs and my own belief in myself. I don't really care if they lied to me about history. I never liked history anyway. I checked out every time I could. I
yeah.
didn't care about it. I told one of my teachers one time, I said, man, I got to go. And she goes, where are you going? I said, it's almost lunchtime. And I was in school, right? And I said, I got to go. I said, I really don't give a damn what George Washington did, man. I'm hungry. I got to go eat. And I just left. I don't really care. But for those people who do, it's going to be hard for them to handle that they're everything they've been told was a lie, dude. When you really check it out, all of it was a lie. Everything.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, I've got some pretty good ideas of what I think is from what's coming. And you just drag me that direction. I'll be more than happy to share it with you whenever you're ready.
Yeah, listen, I brought you into the XRP. You understand, buying and holding. You understand that it doesn't matter if it goes down. As a matter of fact, I just did a podcast with Tanya Gibson, and she actually went. She tried to become Miss America. She was in the Miss America pageant. Beautiful girl, gorgeous,
beautiful gal.
And she's like, "Man, I lost $1,100 with XRP." I says, "What happened?" She says, "Well, I bought it at 80 cents and now it's 40 cents." I said, "You know what?" I said, "Buy more." "Oh, that's what you're supposed to do." I said, "Yeah, you're not trading, you're buying and you're holding until the movie ends. When the movie ends, voila, if you do exactly what we tell you to do, you become rich. It's really not that big of all the rich people know this. All the people, when they were playing the stock market, all these, wealthy multi-gazillionaires that understood that market back in the 80s and 70s, 90s, what have you, okay, who became fabulously wealthy off tech stocks and what have you. They understood buy and hold. It goes down, buy more, because they understood that the Apple companies, the IBM companies, the Microsoft companies, the General Motors companies, the Dell companies, and so on, weren't going anywhere. These were solid companies. The Amazons weren't going anywhere. Okay,
well, that's
people became multi-hundred millionaires off of Amazon stock.
They got bots out there now. I was watching a video the other day that just popped up, and it kind of had my attention for a minute. But I mean, it's a bot that you buy into this thing, you put some money, and the artificial intelligence, it buys and sells for you. So
Right.
You're like making money 24/7. It buys when it's low and it sells when it's high.
Yeah.
And it just keeps doing that. But it's like when you got me into XRP, brother, you remember what I told you. Yeah, I said, dude, I ain't no gambler. I'm not gonna do it. Okay. And then you're like, oh, dude, you got to do this, man. And it's like, and then it made sense to me. I go, okay. So I bought me a clump of XRP, but I'm just letting it ride.
Yeah, you see what the problem with that software that you just explained, I want to hit on that, is you got the best software that buys and sells and trades, and you're making a little bit of money, whatever. Next thing you know, somebody else invents something that's more superior than that, and that thing you just bought is obsolete, and now you're losing money because there's a bunch of guys on that system. So the foolproof system is buy and hold, buy and hold. Just keep buying and holding. That's all you do.
Yeah.
This movie is coming to an end. I mean, you understand that better than anybody. There's no way we go into 2024. I personally, I did you watch the interview with Bo and Nino Rodriguez?
Love
Fabulous.
that guy. I just love Bo Pony, right? I just love him to death.
Yeah, and he said it. He said anybody who's in precious metals and cryptocurrency, although he doesn't understand. That's why I want to get these guys. I want to get these guys' language straight. The language is wrong.
It's not
cryptocurrency, it's digital assets. Crypto. Okay, crypto is what they want for you. They want you in a crypt. They want you dead. I'm not going to be dead. Right. I'm going to be healthy, and I'm going to be wealthy, and I'm going to have a full set of teeth, and I'm going to smile and say, screw you, buddy. Okay. And right. But the reality is that was a brilliant podcast, and there's a point where he says, man, the people that are in cryptos and gold and silver, he goes, they're going to be experiencing multiple years of wealth, and it's going to be wealth that is beyond imagination. And listen, it's happening right now. You see the struggle, you see the manipulation of it's in your face.
There's so much wealth out there. That's just it, is that they've manipulated our minds so much to think that there's such, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Well, not just limitations, but there's a shortage. There's an oil shortage. So we're going to have to charge you out the ass. Scarcity. Well, they create the scarcity. They create it so, and they control all of that.
Yeah,
But there is so much wealth out there, bro, that when you start giving that wealth back to the people from things that we've invested in here and there, whatever, there's plenty of money. There is so much money you can't even fathom it. They've
absolutely.
just been they've just been hoarding it all.
Yeah.
But guess what? When you seize the assets of those fat cats, there's a whole lot more money.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Look,
And did you hear this? I've heard from different sources, and I'm not a guy that has a guy that talks to me in his ear that works for the CIA, none of that stuff,
right,
I'm not that important.
right.
It's not yet. But I've heard that there's gold that they found at the Vatican, and there's a lot more gold around the world. And Vatican is just one of many places where there's gold that hasn't been forfeited or confiscated, or whatever you want to call it, yet. But it will.
Right.
Philippines is another place that there's tremendous amount of gold underground. I understand that the most secure place on Earth that can withstand a nuclear blast is what? Fort Knox, not Fort Knox. I'm sorry, Cheyenne Mountain.
Cheyenne Mountain.
Right.
Cheyenne
That's
Mountain.
what I heard, that the gold is being stored there, and this place is like, from what I understand, I've never been inside. But from the rumor mill, okay, they're saying it's like the size of Los Angeles and San Francisco and New York combined.
Yeah. Yeah. If you could imagine huge warehouses like you've never seen in your entire life with just enough room to walk down an aisle and it's stacked to the ceiling with gold.
And it was 1,500 kilometers long.
Yeah.
It went
I
from
mean, just
Rome to
imagine.
Jerusalem.
Yeah.
That's a lot of gold.
So it's a lot of wealth, it's a lot of wealth, but it just makes sense when you start talking to folks about, universal basic income, stuff like that, and they go, well, if you start paying people, then nobody's going to want to work.
Bullshit.
Guys, in a lot of areas, the people won't have to. When you when you don't when you live the life that God gave us to live, you do what you want to do. You don't do what you have to do. You do what you want to do.
You do what you
You
love to
can
do.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. You can get paid doing something that you love, but we're going to be seeing more and more jobs taken by robotics and stuff like that. We're
It's
not
it's
gonna.
inevitable. It has to happen. Eventually,
Well, it's
we will.
happening already.
Yeah. Eventually, we will reach a total utopia, but we're not there yet. The extraterrestrials are there because they're sixth density, seventh density, they're 12th density. We're barely scratching floor. The ones of us that want to, once we get into fifth density, things are going to change drastically. We're almost there.
Now, check this out. One of our family members is in Dubai right now.
Mhm.
Okay, sending us back videos and pictures, and we're just like, are you kidding me? I mean, they have like this one video she sent me. They can make this whole window just closed. I mean, just like I'm talking a huge section of the building, just and it's all closed. And then when it opened, bro, there's these air taxis flying around, man. I'm talking like the Jetsons, but they're like big drones, but it's a taxi that people get in, and man, it flies you around. You know,
Yeah,
they got
and that's
they
going to
got
be
electric
short-lived. That's going to be
dogs.
like the electric flying car, and that's going to be short-lived with propellers. We're going to go, propellers, helicopters, jets. All this stuff is going to go away.
But that's my point, though, is that you can't just do it like that. Everything needs a little bit of conditioning. Okay. It's
Sure.
like you get used to seeing things flying around in the sky all of a sudden. No, a little okay. And the next thing you know, boom,
Yeah.
now you're going to be able to be in a flying car.
All of a sudden, somebody in the garage invents something that works on free energy technology that's, what magnetic or propulsion, whatever you want to call it. And all of a sudden they'll say, hey, this thing doesn't need any energy. It doesn't need to be plugged in. It doesn't use any gasoline. And they'll have one just to get everybody to go like this. Holy shit. Right?
Bro,
And then
it's
a few
gonna
months
happen.
later, they're mass producing them. That's how they introduce these things, a little at a time.
It's going to happen so fast, Mel, when you stop and think about when there's no filter. Okay. What I mean by
Right.
filter is they already have 6,000 patents
Oh,
that'll
yeah.
blow
Yeah.
your mind away.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably more like 10,000 patents that will blow your mind away, because what happened in the past was that when anything good took place for human beings, they'd be like, oh, that's a great idea. They have shelved so many good things that would have been great for us. We wouldn't have been driving around in a combustible engine like the Flintstones, man. It's like we should be flying already. We should be going to other densities, man. We
But there
should
are
be.
people that are stopping that because they don't want people that look like you, Texas Ted, and people that look like me to have that kind of luxury. They think that
Well,
they
I
are above and
understand.
beyond us, that they should be the ones to rule us. Well, I say, you know what I say to that? Bullshit.
Yeah,
Bullshit.
total
That
bullshit.
ain't gonna
That
happen. You
that
got
was
some
my whole
people with
point.
testosterone that are stepping up, and we're not gonna play your little bullshit game anymore.
Well, that's what I was saying. Once those guys, in other words, once we've had our EBS activated and we're watching 8 hour videos every day for 24/7, and we're seeing these people, like, okay,
Yes.
we're seeing once they're gone and we don't have any restrictions anymore, we're going to start seeing shit happening for the
Oh,
good,
there's no question. There's
for
no
the
question.
good.
Question. Here's the
So it's,
problem. If they were to release all those 6,000 or 10,000 patents, however many they have, tomorrow, it would literally catapult us from a technology standpoint from where we are right now, 1,000 years ahead of where we are right now. Most
yeah.
of us wouldn't know how to handle it.
No, for the vast majority wouldn't. They would slowly be dripping it in here and there. But it's not the first time that we've been there though, bro. There's been some really, really advanced civilizations back in the past. If you look at the
Atlantis being one
Taria,
of them.
Atlantis, hell, even the Aztecs and the Mayans were doing brain surgery back in the day.
Yeah.
Look at all the equipment that we had, to cut granite when there's really no granite around, but I can build a pyramid. There are some advanced civilizations, dude, that have just been wiped off the face of the earth all of a sudden
Yeah.
because they were a little bit too smart for the people that wanted to take control. They wanted to be able to control people. So, that's how they do it. They control you with deceiving you, just, distracting you. And the ultimate goal is to destroy you, unfortunately. But they lost. They
Yeah, no.
lost big time.
It's definitely a mop-up operation at this point. You got to be completely
Uh,
stupid not to see it. I don't know if it's going to happen exactly, November, December, like Bo is saying that was on Nino Rodriguez. You gotta have extra time because Murphy's Law is very real and you have to have allowance. This thing is a beast. You can't expect this thing to be small. They've been screwing and tattooing us for what? Hundreds and hundreds of years, and now you want it to go away in 100 minutes. Come on, it just that's not
well,
logical.
the only the only reason that I think it's something that could very, very possibly happen between October 19th and November. Okay. It's strictly, well, it's from a lot of different areas, but from the Law of War Manual, once they've established that there has been foreign occupancy,
Right?
okay, that's are ceded. So
Sure.
let me kind of run something past you real quick.
Sure.
Because this is what I'm thinking. We have video proof of them shooting gunshots, cannons, some type of explosives or something at 2:30 in the morning on top of the FBI building in Washington, D.C. Okay. There's no doubt about it. It's happened. I saw the video about every 10 seconds, 9 seconds, sometimes 4 seconds, just boom, boom. And I'm talking 2:30 in the morning, just a few blocks up from the White House, and it's not being swarmed with federal agents, marshals, SWAT teams, U.S. military. No, there was two police cars sitting downstairs. Okay. I think what they're doing, Mel, is they're prepping. Okay. Follow me on this one. I think they're prepping people to see how they would react, number one. Number two, I think they're going to end up, and people are going to go, oh, this Texas Ted dude, man, he's ate a little bit too much brisket or something, man. He's lost his damn mind, you know. But follow me on this one. I know that they said that they're going to destroy a lot of these temples, okay, these Masonic temples, stuff like that. There's like 13 of them, scattered about the United States. And I've heard reports that there was 17 cities, just happened to be 17, that they were going to spark up these riots and stuff like that. Okay, so they're going to have a reason to deploy military. All right. You can't just put them out there on the streets. And then I also hear Trump in every one of his rallies talking about, we're going to take back the House, we're going to take back the Senate, and we're going to take back that beautiful White House. Okay. What he doesn't say is that beautiful White House on Pennsylvania Avenue. Okay. He doesn't say anything about the location. He doesn't say anything. I'm thinking what they're going to end up doing is we're already seeing in the news, whether it's Mockingbird Media, whether it's our news, they're already talking about the fear of nuclear war. Even Nino's talked a lot about in 107, excuse me, has talked about, nuclear war. And the only way people are going to change their ways of thinking is when they are brought to the precipice. When they're facing a near death experience, people change. Okay. So I think they're prepping. I think they're prepping us with this thought of nuclear war. There is not going to be any nuclear war.
No.
Period. But
No.
they're prepping us. They're prepping the people. They're prepping the masses, because I think what they're going to do, bro, this script was written a long time ago. I think what they're going to do is they're going to blow up the White House. They're going to blow up these Masonic lodges throughout. They're going to blow up the Statue of Liberty, because believe it or not, the Statue of Liberty, that was delivered to us in 1886.
Isn't that a transvestite? It's a transgender woman, the Statue of Liberty?
It could be. I mean, it was delivered in 1886. I don't know. I don't know if it is, but I do know a lot about the torch. That was supposedly the fire that was stolen from Zeus. I know a lot about the rays, that are coming out of the head of that thing.
Mm-hmm.
It symbolizes global domination. Okay, and there's just a lot of things about it. Okay,
Sure.
So, and that was another part of history that we were lied to about, what that represented. But anyway, there's a lot of them out there. I think my prediction is going to be that sometime soon, I'm not going to put a date on it, but I think sometime very, very soon, could be days, could be weeks, but I'd say very, very soon, since they've been prepping us about this world war and these bombs, and we're going to get attacked and everything, I think they're going to blow that White House to smithereens, because that place has just been riddled with evil for many, many years. And I honestly don't think Trump wants to live in it. Okay. Now that he knows, he don't want to live in it. And this is what I see happening. They blow up all these buildings, all these sites, everything. Now they got to move the military out there. Okay, because there's going to be a little bit of mass hysteria going on. So they put the military out. It looks good to everybody. Now they know why the military's there, supposedly. But that's when they go on a big time cleanup. They start arresting a lot of these people, which they haven't already. Okay. They start doing a lot of arrests, but we're under martial law, okay, for that moment of time. And then the Supreme Court turns around and spreads the news that they've
Mhm.
already done this, that they've overturned the 2020 election.
Right.
Okay. But I think when Trump comes back, Trump's going to be operating more out of Mar-a-Lago. I don't see him doing anything in
At
the
least for
White
a
House
brief
because
moment. At least for a brief
well, it's
moment.
but check this out. It's not there. The White House isn't going to be there anymore. Okay. It's not going to be there, but they're going to build a new one. Now, I don't know if that new one is going to be in Florida or if it's going to be in Texas. I keep hearing Texas. But
Yeah.
if they build a new one, it would take probably about 2 years, I would think.
So he's going to
So
have to operate out of somewhere in the meantime.
I think he would operate out of Mar-a-Lago because here's what I see, bro. I don't see him coming back. Look, everything's changing. And I'm not telling people how to think, but these thoughts of, a president and a vice president, you got all these cabinets, these Congress people. One of the main reasons this deal's going to happen, bro, is so they don't have to have the midterms. They're not going to need these people, not in that capacity. Okay. I
Mhm.
think when Trump comes back, he's going to finish out the 2 years from Slapdick.
Mhm.
Okay. He's going to finish out those 2 years, and he can do that from Mar-a-Lago. All right. And it gives him time to build another beautiful White House, which he's always talking about. And then maybe he can come back. But I don't think he's going to be back in the form of like a president, bro. I think he's going to be back more, don't laugh at this, more like a king, more like they used to do back in the old days, because we're going back into a
So we're
lot of those
changing the
things.
entire political structure, is what you're saying.
Dude, the government's going to be 80% smaller than what it is now. If
Minimum.
you've watched if you've watched any of those Viking movies and stuff like that, these kings ruled over vast amount of countries. Okay. Vast amount of countries. What I see happening is Trump coming back and being like the king or the emperor or whatever over the United States, Mexico, Canada, Australia, and then of course you're going to have Putin will have his section. Okay, you're going to also have the Crown Prince of Saudi will have his section. Okay, Mohammed bin Salman. You also have Modi, okay, from India. He's going to have his section, and then you have President Xi in China. He'll have his section. See, bro, once all the bad players are gone, okay, and you don't have to worry about evil, you don't. It doesn't take that much to govern. And guess why? Because the power's been given back to the people. We're the ones that's going to be running the countries. These guys are just kind of overseeing everything. The power's coming back to us, baby. And if you're a bad player in this new world, you ain't gonna make it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's
Those,
that's my thinking.
yeah, no, I totally agree with a lot what you just said. My thing is, I want to hit on these three things, and then we're going to say goodbye to the audience. I want to hold you over for an extra 5-10 minutes. I enjoy talking to you. We sometimes him and
Me
I
too.
talk for hours we just get into conversation, and then I always end up saying, "Hey, bro, this should have been a podcast." He goes, "Yeah, I agree."
No.
you know,
So
so
we decided to do one.
yeah, so but we should do one more often, Texas Ted. But anyway, food shortage. You live in Puerto Vallarta. I live in Costa Rica. Puerto Vallarta, Mexico is not the domino that needs to fall for the New World Order to thrive and Marxism and communism to come in. And neither
Right.
does Costa Rica. You go to Costa Rica, you go down to food farmers market here, about 2 miles from, not even a mile and a half from my house. There's more food than they know what to do with. Okay, the food is stacked
Exactly.
up to the ceiling. Okay, chicken,
Exactly.
fish, beef, pork, every vegetable under the sun,
Nobody's.
every fruit of it, it's abundance. So I
Yeah. I
don't see that
mean,
happening in countries because the country they need to take down in order for the New World Order to win, which they're losing like 900,000 to nothing, is the United States. That's where you have the food shortages. That's where you have all the bullshit going on. Okay, so that in other countries is out of the way. The 10 days of darkness, I personally don't think that that is going to happen.
Okay.
Okay. And I don't think the markets are going to go down to zero. I think we've experienced the XRPs and the XLMs and the XDCs and the whole market going down. Do I expect that the market, the stock market is going to crash? Absolutely. But do I feel
Right.
that no, they're not going to bring the cryptocurrencies down to zero, because you can't bring nothing back to life from zero. When it's zero, that means everybody lost their money, everybody goes home, and that's it. You're done. Okay.
True.
So
True.
I think we have experienced the markets as low as where are you on any of this? Food shortages, the 10 days of darkness, and the markets going to zero.
As far as food shortages, I agree with you 100% as far as what's going on here in Mexico. We ain't starving. I mean, there ain't no shortages of anything.
Is there any shelves that are empty at any time, at any point in time when you walk into the supermarket and say, oh my God, there's an empty shelf of food? They're all out of diapers.
No, dude. And you know what they were talking about? You know, I can't give my baby any formula or anything. The first thing I thought was, what did your mom and grandma do for formula, man? They didn't go to the store and buy it. I mean, come on, man. But I don't want to get into that, because women are going to get pissed off at me. But the whole time they were,
again,
the whole today, no, the whole time, dude, I was looking, man. I go to Costco and it's just like just shelf after shelf after shelf, and I thought, we ain't got no problem getting it here, you know.
Okay, and on the 10 days of
it's just I do believe that, I don't know how many days it's going to be. And when, you know, for people that don't know what we're talking about, it doesn't mean the sun's not going to come up and we're going to have 10 days of total pitch black outside. It's communication darkness. And I feel like, I don't know how many days it's going to be, but I think it's going to have to go down for one reason, as far as the internet and stuff like that, is simply because we're going to be switching over to the Starlink satellite system and getting free internet and all that stuff. And I don't think that they have it to where it's just a switch that okay, switch this one off and switch this one on. Okay, now you're on the free stuff. You know, I think it's going to go down. Plus, they don't, you know, for the rest of the cleanup operations that are going on, they're going to have a time. There's going to come a point in time where they want to shut down the communications, because they don't want them to be able to communicate with each other, so they can do their job, you know.
So you're talking about the art of war. That makes sense, but you know, maybe they're beta testing it, and maybe instead of a 3 days, instead of a 10 days darkness, maybe it's a 2 or 3 day darkness, because they're testing on how they do it. Because you can't be without the finances for too long before things get catastrophic. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's why they've been telling people. I mean, because I pay attention to everything these days, and I've exercised it too. Have plenty of cash on hand, because the ATMs are not going to work. Have plenty of food, have plenty of water, have your car full of gas. Okay. They're telling people these things for a reason. And I think it's because there is going to be some days of darkness where you're not going to be able to use the ATM. You know, they're going to be switching over to the quantum financial system. The ATM's not going to work, buddy. You know, sorry, dude, you can't get that cash out. It don't work. Okay. So, you know, so I just think there's going to be a time, and it's not going to be a long time, but I think there is going to be a certain amount of time of downtime. You know, there almost has to be, you know. That's just part of if you think about the script that's been written out, that's just part of it, bro. It's like, how could you have a near-death experience with bombs going off around you, but you're still able to chit-chat on, you know, WhatsApp or whatever? No, man, when all that shit goes down, you got my attention. You know,
I mean, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm not talking about me personally, but when all that shit goes down, I mean, people got to be at the precipice, man. And if you take away somebody's TikTok long enough, they're at the precipice. You know, it's like,
Guys, right down below, if you think Texas Ted should have his own channel, I believe he does. I wouldn't even,
man.
if I would start a YouTube channel, bro, it would just be like to put little snippets to move people over to Rumble. Don't even waste your time. They're a joke, and they're going to go down. But in any event, we're going to say goodbye to the audience. I'm going to hold you over. Texas Ted, we need to do this more often, brother, because I have a
Thank you
lot of
so
fun with
much.
you.
Well, it's always fun, buddy. It's always fun, and I'm so happy for all your success, man.
Well, I don't forget where I come from. I walk with my feet on the ground. I got people calling me saying, "Oh, I can't believe I'm talking to you." I'm like, relax. I wake up in the morning. I eat my cereal the same way you do. I put my pants on. There's nothing special. Anybody could do this. Anybody could. Look at that smile. You don't think that guy's a good looking guy. That guy could get a lot of people to watch him, and he's smart. You know what I mean? Guys, if you watch this far, thank you. We'll catch you on the next one.